Hi, this is Josh, and today I just wanted to talk about a subject that came up today with a patient who was asking some questions about how to best manage your senses in the modern age with the computers that we use and Wi-Fi networks and EMFs and all these things that are so prevalent right now. And I have a lot of ideas about this. Obviously, this wasn't something that existed 2,000 years ago, so this is more of a modern age problem. But with Ayurveda, a lot of these concepts can still be applied today to any kind of condition or any type of issue we may be facing. So with computers, particularly as we spend more and more time on these, as more of our attention is focused on things like the internet, it's particularly important that we start to pay attention to maintaining good computer hygiene, mental emotional hygiene, sensory hygiene. So this video today is going to be a couple tips that we can use to help wade our way through these issues. So without getting too into the politics of it, I know it's a very controversial subject with EMFs. One thing that we can say for certain is that electromagnetic frequencies are going to have a vata aggravating effect on the body and the mind. So this is one thing to keep in mind. EMFs aren't fully understood yet, and the implications of what kind of effect they might have on our body in the long term. We can take some protective measures right now. So a couple of the main things I usually recommend people do is to protect yourself in your own home first. So most of us have Wi-Fi routers and things like that. These are best to keep in an area of the house that's far away, particularly from the bedroom, since you're going to spend most of your time in bed sleeping. If you can have your Wi-Fi router in a living room or in a back room or something like that, this is going to be ideal. So you want to keep it as far away from the area of your house that you spend the most time in. Obviously, if you're able to, not living near cell phone towers, things like this are going to be also very beneficial to help limit your exposure to EMFs. They kind of pervade most aspects of our lives these days. Even when we carry around phones in our pocket, we're going to be exposed. So another simple thing that we can do, obviously, is going to be not carry your phone around with you at all times. Not leave our phone next to our bed when we go to sleep. The phone will obviously keep emitting Wi-Fi signals through the night, which we'll be exposed to. So I always recommend to people to put your phone on the other side of the room. Even out of the room is even better. If you do need the alarm or something like that, it's always a good idea to put it into airplane mode. That's one other option as well. There's a really great app that I like. It's actually in the settings if you have an iPhone. It's called Night Shift, and it's also available on Macs too. But what this allows you to do is set your light on your phone to dim at a certain hour. So I set mine at about 6 p.m. So from 6 p.m. on, the blue lights that are naturally emitted out of phones and things will be much lessened. So, and then it naturally comes back on around 8 a.m. or so. So we can do this both on our phones and our computer to limit our blue light exposure. Our brains are not meant to be up at nighttime. We've evolved over tens of thousands of years to go to sleep when it's dark. So having these lights on and at nighttime when we're trying to sleep is going to be stimulating to the brain. It's confusing, so that can also cause some issues. If you have issues already sleeping, this is a huge thing to do. So in general, I always also recommend to limit your exposure to any type of television or lights or computers or anything. At least an hour or so before bed is also a very good idea in that case too. Another thing that we can do that should be probably the most simple and obvious thing is going to be to limit our screen time in general. So the sensory faculties in Ayurveda are directly related to the mind. So what we take in our senses is going to have an influence on our mind. And when we are overstimulating our senses, it's going to cause vata disturbances in the mind as well. So if you have a job where you work on a computer, or if you need to be on a computer for extended periods of time, it's always a great idea to make sure you take a little bit of a break, even 5 minutes. If that's all you got, take 5 minutes. Get up, walk around. I always also recommend people stare off into distant horizons and use your sight in that way too. We get so kind of hunched over at computer screens so often that it's good to take care of our eyes by making sure we are also looking off into the distance as well. So that's a really important time, or a really important thing that we can also do. Misuse of the senses in Ayurveda is one of the primary causes of any kind of disease. So it seems like a very simple thing, and it is. But as these things accumulate and as the doshas accumulate, they'll have a bigger influence on our health. So Very, very important. There's a concept used in yoga and Ayurveda called pratyahara, and this means the removal of the senses, or the inward dwelling of the senses. So it's a practice in and of itself, but we can use this in a very simple way just by limiting our exposure to stimulus that's this strong. Wi-Fi signals, EMFs, the internet, all these amazing inventions are also directly related to, in Vedic astrology, the North Node, which is called Rahu. So, and Rahu is a very magical, mystical graha or planet. And what this causes is great connections, great insights, brings us new unexplored realms that we can get into and that kind of thing, which is the great side of it. The negative side might be is that it can also be a little bit like a hall of mirrors or an illusory force. So it can kind of suck us in and causes addictions and things like this. So this is a very common phenomenon we're dealing with right now. I've always wanted to actually even do a Ayurvedic retreat based on working with internet addiction. So look for that. That might be happening soon. Another very simple and very powerful thing that we can use is to spend some time in nature. So the energy in nature is probably the purest and the cleanest energy that we can be exposed to. And in our modern society, where we're constantly bombarded with noises and stimulation, both from people and from electronic sources and things like this, make sure you get out into nature. It's a real easy thing for a lot of people to not remember to do or to make a priority. I can tell you how many times I've gone out in nature, even on the days where I've thought, I don't have the time for this, or I don't want to do this, and I feel so much better. I did it just this afternoon, and I actually thought about even filming this video while I was out there, but I thought, you know what, why spoil that beautiful energy with a video? So doing that now. Make sure you get out into nature. Take in the clean prana, the clean energy that you're exposed to when you're out there. The farther we can remove ourselves from this stimulus is going to be a way to give ourselves a kind of a micro cleanse of sorts. And a couple simple practical tools that we can use from the world of Vastu is to bring plants into our house. So when we want to bring life closer to us, we bring plants inside. They also can help to mitigate some of the electromagnetic frequencies in the house, so they're very powerful to have in the house. I often also recommend that you put them either right near your computer if you have kind of a standalone PC. If you have a Wi-Fi router, always great to have some plants near that too. They'll help to absorb some of these electronic frequencies. Also, we can do some crystals if you're into that. I really like crystals a lot, so I'll always have something in the house. A couple easy ones to find are going to be black tourmaline. It's a very common one that's used for this, so you can set some black tourmaline right near the routers, right near your computer. I also think it's a good idea to have some maybe even near your bed. Or wherever you keep your phone, wherever your phone charger is, or any kind of electronic hubs in your house, that kind of thing. Place some black tourmaline. Another good option that's easy to find and is a beautiful stone is amethyst. So it's a nice purple, beautiful color that absorbs and negates negative energies. So very easy stones to find. And the last thing that I would recommend is to drink Tulsi tea. So Tulsi is a renowned Ayurvedic herb. It's been used for centuries for all kinds of conditions. This case, what I like it for is that it's a modulator of the nervous system. It's an adaptogenic herb, which means that it tends to regulate your system based on whether you need to be lifted up. So if you're feeling down, depressed, heavy, lethargic, tamasic, it'll bring you up. If you're feeling anxious, vata provoked, too much energy, it'll bring you down. So it has this nice balancing act that it does for the nervous system. Very, very powerful in that way. I also keep a little Tulsi plant right outside my house. Many days when I walk out or when I get home, the first thing I'll do is pluck a leaf, tell the Tulsi plant thank you, and eat a leaf. So Ayurveda often recommends it's good to eat a Tulsi leaf every day. So these are just a couple quick simple things that you can do. I know we all know we spend too much time on computers, it is, myself included, and having some active ways to reduce the effects that the computer is going to have on us, working on reducing the effects of the electronic frequencies that are in the air we are all constantly exposed to daily, is going to go a long, long, long way in protecting our health. So I hope this was all helpful. I thank you so much for watching the video. If you like my material, I'd love for you to like and subscribe, and I'll keep making videos. I also have consultations available, and if you'd like to do that, you can reach me through my website or my Instagram or Facebook, or even right here And if you have any questions or any comments or anything you'd like to add about what you like to do to help with these things, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.